Welcome to the Richardville Report with Senator Randy Richardville. Coming to you each month from the Capitol, the Richardville Report brings issues, events, and topics important to Michigan to you. This week, Senator Richardville discusses bullying, its effects, and recent legislative and community efforts to stop it. And now, here's Senator Richardville.
Hi, I'm State Senator Randy Richardville, the Majority Leader of the Michigan Senate. And I'm here today on the eve of Stand for Change Day. And we're going to be talking about that with our special guest that we'll introduce in a few minutes. But now it's time for the Richardville Report. Once again, we're taping today's show on the eve of Stand for Change Day. We have two special guests. We have Jeff Sakwa as well as Martha Adair. We're going to be talking to both of them throughout the show. But it's important to know that millions of students are standing up all over the world against bullying. And our guests today are here to tell us a little bit about the Stand for Change Day in Michigan and what we need to know about how to prevent bullying in our schools and in our neighborhoods. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Jeff, now you and I met at the premiere in Michigan of the show, the movie, The Bully. I think it's just called Bully, right?
Called Bully now,
Bully.
Yes.
And it was one of those movies that, kind of a documentary that chronicled 4 or 5, maybe 6 families and some of the things that are happening in our schools. And it was very moving for me. And we had passed some legislation back in December requiring local school boards to address bullying in their local schools. And just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about your involvement with bullying, Stand for Change Day, and we'll go from there.
Of course. Well, first and foremost, I'm very passionate about education. The 3 biggest issues facing school today are funding, drugs, and bullying. Bullying's kind of taken on a life of its own. It's hit a crisis level. And early on, we saw what was going on, and we wanted to give the kids the power to make change. We as adults can give the kids tools. At the end of the day, the power lies in the kids. I do believe that the Bully movie got so much publicity due to the ratings, which is another story from the other day, that created a lot of awareness. We were already working our campaign, so it helped us out immensely. What I'm proud to say is that we have all 50 states involved tomorrow, and we're in 47 countries, and we're proud it was a collaborative effort. What I'm most proud of it is a collaborative effort between politicians, entertainers, singers, educators, parents, and children coming together. What I'm not most proud of, I think there should have been more people collaborating.
Okay, so Jeff, now Stand for Change Day. A lot of people will be seeing this after Stand for Change Day. But you know, you were talking about a more collaborative effort, getting more people involved. This is the very first one. So you know, you can only expect so much. But what do you see tomorrow looking like? And again, tomorrow will be yesterday for some people. But May 4th, 2012 is the first Stand for Change Day. Tell us what that's going to be.
I think it's going to be an incredible day. I think to realize that at the same time all across our country, people are going to be standing up for one cause at one time. We're going to ask people to turn to the right, give the person next to them a compliment. We've been very fortunate. We have videos going out, which I can tell you now since it's being tape delayed, that we have the choir coach from Glee will be delivering a pledge to the kids. All the schools will receive their videos today. And we have a video that was done by Funny or Die, a website that's owned by Will Ferrell, where we kind of made fun of bullying. We want it to be so ridiculous that nobody would bully. And we're doing a video contest where these kids can upload their videos, and the winning video will be on the Funny or Die website, which is a really big deal. And lastly, we have a video done by Kevin Epling, whose son Matt was the one who took his own life, and Mr. Epling worked 10 strong years to get the law passed, and I applaud the legislature because the way they did it, they put the power in the school's hands. Instead of, you know, Lansing saying, do it this way, they said, school, have something, do it your way, and just make sure you do it. And I applaud everybody for doing it. I think it was a great way to do it.
Well, thanks. Just so you know a little bit of the background, I co-sponsored the bill back in the last term. But I would say that special interest groups kind of got a hold of the issue and hung it up so that it couldn't go through both the House and the Senate. So we started all over this time. And this bill, like you said, instead of having special interest groups and people up in Lansing that want to tell locals how they should manage their issues, we instead said you would be required, you as a local school board, to come up with one that deals with the people in your neighborhoods and your school systems the way you think's best, not the way some bureaucrat or elected person in Lansing does it. So I appreciate that support, Jeff. We also have, you know, before we move on, Defeat the Label. Can you tell a little bit about Defeat the Label?
Sure. Defeat the Label is a movement that was started in West Bloomfield by a group called Friendship Circle. What they discovered was they represent, you know, special needs children. And they team them up with typical kids, and they come after school and they have their buddy. We discovered about people that have special needs, they really don't judge anybody. So now we have this circumstance of a typical person meeting with a person with a disability. They behave appropriately at all times. We said, why can't we take that behavior into everyday life for all people? That's where it came out of. So when you see somebody, you don't prejudge them, you just accept them for the way they are, a la the anti-bullying movement. And the other thing I want to add is that in the fall we'll be coming out with a song via We Are the World. We have Ken Cragen, who is the founder of We Are the World and Hands Across America, is on our team. The song is excellent. I believe I played it for you.
A little bit.
We're working on it, and it'll be out in the fall. We don't want to shoot all our bullets off at one time. We want to give the kids something to wait for.
Well, that's great. You know, again, you can't legislate morality. You can't legislate ethics and behavior. But you can bring some awareness sometime. We try to do that with the legislation, and now you as a citizen getting involved, working with the schools, working with people back home, I think it's a tremendous effort, because I think the more people know and understand how this issue has grown, especially with the electronics that are out today.
Absolutely.
That we can start to address it, like you said, in the schools, in the neighborhoods, and in the homes. So thank you for your efforts as well, Jeff.
Thank you for believing in me and getting it started. So
absolutely, it's been fun. It's been a great learning experience for me too. We also today have Martha Adair, and Martha is with the New Oakland Child and Adolescent Family Center, and we certainly welcome you today, Martha. How are you?
Good, very good.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been involved in and that you've seen regarding bullying? I know you're aware of some of Jeff's efforts as well, but you're kind of on a different side, not being in the school system, but you're there. Tell us a little bit, first of all, about the New Oakland Child and Adolescent Family Center, okay?
Okay, thank you. We have, at New Oakland, we have 5 centers. We have 5 mental health clinics, and in our clinics, in 4 of them, we have what we call a partial day hospital, where the kids come and spend the day with us. These are kids that are having severe problems. And we have seen a marked increase in the children coming in with suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and even suicidal attempts. And I think as we've gotten more savvy, and we've worked with Jeff, and I think as the community as a whole understands more about bullying, we've fine-tuned the way we talk to children. And also we found that it's almost 70% of these kids that come in is because they're having problems at school and being bullied. But before, we would just look at it as, oh, they're depressed or they're anxious, but not really getting to specifically saying, what is going on? And now I will just say to children, are you being bullied? And many times, even the guarded children that don't want to be there, they don't want treatment, they'll start to cry, and then they'll start to tell you their story. It's really an amazing phenomenon. This has taken a whole life of its own, and it's a wonderful thing.
Well, it's glad that you're getting, you're getting beyond the surface, beyond the symptoms, and getting down to what the root cause of some of these issues are. And then, tell me the role of teachers and educators, because once you discover that someone is being bullied, someone, whether it's, physically, or whether it's intimidation, or whether it has something to do with social media, something like that, what do you do with the information at that point?
Well, we get a lot of referrals from the teachers or the counselors, social workers, because they're kind of at a loss now at what to do. So I think that we need to work as a team to help these children, to find other support systems. But Jeff, we were talking earlier, I think the schools all have to have their anti-bullying programs in effect by June 6th. So that will give them some guidelines about what to do and how to handle this. Because I was just thinking today, it really is, the bullying is really, it's assault. It's not, we use the term bullying, but it's really assault, harassment, and stalking in some cases. And so we just really need to see what the schools can put into place, how we can help, how we can partner with them to help them figure out what to do for these children, because it's very serious.
Okay,
can I add on something?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
What we're raising money, and what we're raising money for is a very cool thing. We have a free app we're going to put on the phone, where if a kid's being bullied, he'll be able to anonymously mark down where it happened, 2 o'clock in the cafeteria at my high school. I was called a name. I feel terrible. We are working with the FBI. They love what we're doing. We're going to be starting this thing on Kickstarter, I believe, tomorrow, where people can give us $10, $20 to do this. In addition to that, we're raising money for a 24-hour helpline called BRAVE. It stands for Building Respect, Acceptance Through Voice and Education. It'll be any kid in the country that calls will be able to get a phone call. It doesn't have to be suicide. Just I don't feel right. I want someone to talk to. Then they can lead them to somebody like Martha in their local community to get them more help if they need it. Most important thing to understand is a lot of kids, and we were all kids one day, we keep stuff from our parents. And how awful was it? And when you find out, oh my God, my kid had this problem, I didn't see it coming. So we want to give them a route to trust somebody, trust an adult anonymously, and get them the help they need. And as the teacher goes, we have to train our teachers and staff in school. If a kid's brave enough to come forward with the problem, they have to be trained to handle that problem. Tattletales are no longer, not accepted. Tattletale is a good thing today.
Okay, well that's very interesting. I was going to ask the question about, if I'm a victim, where can I go once you detect this and, the behavior, and then there could be retribution if you told somebody about things that were happening. So those concerns are there for kids too, right?
Right, yeah, I think that it's sort of has always been a misnomer that if you tell that things are going to get worse, because they're not going to get worse, they're already terrible. So if you have a trusted adult, or go to your parents, and if they brush it off the first time, the children really, we encourage them to, say, this is very serious and I need some help with this. But you have to find an adult that you trust. It might be your best friend's parents or your grandmother, anyone that you trust that will listen to you. That's the main thing, is that I think parents get confused about what to do, and they get scared, and so then they just try to sweep it under the rug. Oh, I went through that. It'll be okay. You'll be okay. But they need to really just take time to listen to them, listen to their concerns, because once you know that you're validated, that your fears and your concerns validated, it starts already to help them feel better. And in the bully movie, I mean, that was some of it that we saw, is that they went to the parents and they didn't really respond so well.
Yeah, I noticed that too. One of the parts that struck me was when the young man, and they had a nickname for him. It wasn't a nice thing, but he was the one that was born early and had some slow development things, and was tall and relatively thin. And his mother was talking to him, and during that period of time, she said something along the lines of, how does that make you feel? And his response was, I don't know that I feel anything anymore.
Right.
So that seems like a point that it's pretty bad. So you're saying that if a child were to be hearing this, and he knows that he's been bullied, or she knows that they've been bullied, and you're saying, well, you have to do something with that. It's okay to be a tattletale, etc. But to go to an adult that you trust, that's the key thing that I heard from you, is you need to go to an adult that you trust. It could be a principal, it could be a teacher, it could be a parent, it could be an uncle, something like that. And then what does that person do at the end for you? Where do you go then when you get that?
Right, they need to then advocate for that child. So they need to go to the school and make them aware, but also when you have a child that is in that serious condition, where I think he finally said to the mother, when she said, how does that make you feel? He said, I don't think I feel anymore. That's a key right there. When your child is not feeling anything anymore, that's when you need to get them more help. You need to take them for therapy. You need to get an intensive intervention at that point, because this can lead to many other things. I mean, they can snap, like the one little girl, and bring a weapon to school, which is going to cause them to be in the juvenile justice system, or to cause bodily harm to some other child. So at that point, you really need to move quickly, and I think parents are afraid.
One thing I want to add, the bully needs help, obviously.
Yes.
So it's not just the victim, the bully needs help.
Yes.
This is not a normal behavior.
Right.
And I think growing up, a lot of times people said, oh, it's just a rite of passage, or boys will be boys. No, boys won't be boys.
Right.
The answer is no. We accept that. We, as a society, treating people rudely, disrespectful, we're not a society anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, there were some disturbing things, and it was thought-provoking as well as action-provoking. There was another part in the movie where two boys had some kind of a conflict coming in from the playground, and there was an assistant principal or somebody there, and the one had explained what the problem was, and that he's supposed to stay away, but he wasn't staying away, and it had to be really frustrating for that kid then. So that probably wouldn't be the adult that he trusted that he would go to, go find another one, and then maybe there can be some real solutions to the problem. Let me flip gears a little bit, if I could. Cyberbullying, some of the electronic or social media that's out there. Those of us that maybe didn't grow up with that might not know and understand how key that is in someone's life, especially a young person's life, because they're, that's a big part of their communication. And maybe we could talk about that a little bit, Jeff.
Sure.
What's been your experience?
Well, I'm proud to say Facebook. We contacted them. They're helping promote our day, which I'm very excited about. They have a program on Facebook. If you see someone getting suicidal, there's a place they can turn to and alert Facebook. They can alert somebody. They're really up on that. It's a whole new world. The difference is when you went to school, if you went to school from 9 to 2 o'clock, if you were getting harassed, you were done at 2 o'clock. Not anymore, 24/7. So they can gang up on you on Facebook. They can gang up on you on Twitter. What these kids don't know from law enforcement is anything you do on the internet is public information. And we have passed cyberbullying bills, all across the country. And if they do that, it's unacceptable behavior once again. But what people don't understand, there's emotional scars that go with this. People live their whole life. I mean, every time I've given a speech with adults in a room, I remember that guy from 5th grade, that guy made my life miserable. The cool thing is some of these people became so strong that it probably became more successful because they just honed their craft. Say, you know what, I'm a little reclusive. I'm going to play guitar. Next thing you know, the guy's playing in front of 21,000 people. If you were to Google celebrities that have been bullied, it'd take you 2 months to read up on them. So,
yeah, I believe that.
Any politicians been bullied, by the way?
Well, yeah, it's a different kind of bullying, but that certainly does happen. In fact, I would argue it's a bad example sometimes, the kinds of things that politicians say about other politicians. There should be more respect at the top level, I think. So Martha, what about you when it comes to the cyberbullying?
Right, we see that a lot with the kids that we talk to. It's that, like Jeff said, it's relentless. They never get away from it. Even if they want to go on the computer and do something fun or chat, then they're getting bombarded by these emails or Twitters or Facebook. And the problem with I feel, just my opinion, that it's so easy to do these say these horrible things on a text because it's more anonymous. I mean, I think especially with girls. I mean, boys are more, I think, confrontational and assaultive, but girls, I think it really dehumanizes that person, and you can just really get busy and say really bad things. And so I think it's wonderful that we did at the rally that we attended, Defeat the Label had, and I got to attend. We had the police officer, and I was amazed to know that if you're doing this, if you're harassing someone like this, they know exactly where you are by what you're doing on your cell phone. And it's a wonderful thing that hopefully kids will learn that you can't just do and say anything you want on the internet.
I'm going to, well, I think Jeff, on May 3rd, we had a presentation on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah.
And because we're not in session usually on Fridays, May 4th, when the actual Stand for Change Day occurred, we did something the day before that. So let's look forward for the next year. Let's say Stand for Change Day, the very first one, we had some participation. It wasn't 100%. Not everybody in North America stood up at the same time, but we got to start. And then you've got some things that would be happening. I know you said later on in the year that you're looking for. Can you take us through the next year? If you could envision what Stand for Change and Defeat the Label look like in the next year, how can people get involved if they wanted to? How can they? It's a nonprofit organization. How can they give money?
Yeah.
How can they check things out on a website? And what are some events that may be happening in the next year?
Well, we're going to work on a anti-bully Woodstock event. We're going to try to put a concert together with a telethon kind of formula. We're working with various groups right now. The song I mentioned to you earlier, which could be a huge money maker.
Is there a name on that song yet?
Yeah,
or is it
Symphony of Change.
Symphony of Change.
Yeah.
And can people get on the internet and look that up?
Not yet.
Okay, but soon?
But soon, yeah. The thing that's cool about Symphony of Change, we believe that every person's a note, every group is an instrument. We bring them all together, we make beautiful music. That's kind of where it came from. So,
okay, that makes sense.
We don't have the word bully anywhere in the song. The song, with anybody age would enjoy the song. And the writers who wrote it for us for free, and they said, what are you looking for? I said, Song of the Year, that's all.
So Symphony of Change, people can be looking for that to come out sometime early summer, late summer?
Fall.
Fall,
when the
this
kids
fall.
come back
Okay.
to school. What's really cool, people go to defeatthelabel.com. We give the kids missions every week, a pay it forward type thing. sit next to somebody you never sat next to in school before, write a kind note to a neighbor or something, do an extra chore for your parents. And we try to build up the like. So people follow Defeat the Label. We're going to try to get celebrities to audio the mission, so they'll be more apt to do it if their favorite hero is telling them to do something. Hopefully they'll follow.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it every week and release it through radio. So, or they can go to the website or our Facebook page. So, and we're going to try to give away prizes and have contests for schools to give us their missions.
Can you tell us the website one more time, just so people know where to look?
DefeatTheLabel.com.
And that's just one word, DefeatTheLabel.com.
Right. And then they can donate there. We have a clothing store. I try not to push the clothes, but if they like to buy the clothes, fantastic. It's all going in the same pot. It's very important that we raise money for the helpline and the app. It's going to be tremendous.
Okay, very good. Well, I certainly appreciate you being here. Now, Martha, is there anything you'd like to add as we start to close the discussion?
Well, I just want to give a little example about how important I think Defeat the Label is. I had a child come in. She was 14 years old. She was being bullied. Her dad was fully aware. They were working with the school, weren't having a lot of success, and she said, you know, I just don't know what to do. Dad's going to homeschool her. And I said, why don't you go to defeatthelabel.com and see what they have, how they can help you. And she was so excited. She wrote it down. So just any little thing that you can give them. I said, you know, you can talk on that. There'll be an app later coming on that you can report things and you can talk to other kids. And she was just very excited. So we're very happy to be helping out in any way we can with Defeat the Label.
We're very happy that you are too. And you know, the film festival that we attended called the Uptown Film Festival in Birmingham, that's where I first saw the movie Bully. And then we saw it again later. You had another premiere in Michigan, and I attended that too because I was so impressed with it the first time that I saw it. When is that movie coming to town or coming back to Michigan?
The Bully movie? It's there right now.
So right now, they had the opening for the big weekend?
They had the opening for a while. What's really cool was a lot of schools are going to see that movie tomorrow. They're running out the entire theater all day long.
Yeah, I think it's important.
All 8 theaters, like 24/7.
Yeah. That is great.
Yeah.
Well, I really thought that, you know, that would almost, we should almost require it to be a part of our curriculum, part of our culture, that we don't accept that kind of behavior. So the movie is The Bully, or just plain Bully. Just plain Bully. And it's a Weinstein movie.
Directed by Lee Hirsch.
Okay, very good. And so people can go out and check that out and learn more about bullying and how it's playing out in our schools. And Martha, is there anything as we close that you would like to
just that we're participating in this event tomorrow at the Birmingham 8 Theater, and there's going to be at least 750 students and staff and the superintendent. So it should be a wonderful event.
Yeah, it's really neat. After the movie, they're going to be there to answer questions.
Yeah, we'll be there to answer questions and give any support that we can.
Well, you know, I don't know anybody out there that says, hey, bullying's a good idea. Yeah. It's just a matter of once they learn about how it's happening, where it's happening, and how they can stop it, intervene, and make a cultural change, that I think we're going to start to see the change. And it's largely because of people like you, Jeff, the other people that defeat the label.
Work with great people.
And stand for change. That's awesome. Martha, the things that you're doing with kids, I mean, literally you could be saving lives. And we certainly appreciate that. And we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. Anytime.
Okay. This is the Richardville Report. I'm State Senator Randy Richardville. Thanks for watching today.